She never imagined that the end of her simple life would also be the beginning of something that would change her destiny forever. Ana Lucia was in her early 30s when she became a widow. Her husband, Joao, a farm laborer, died from a fierce fever that swept through half the region. No medicine, no doctors, no promises. Only silence and goodbye. After his death, everything crumbled like dust. The landowner expelled Ana from the farm, claiming that a woman alone could not occupy employee housing. With no income, no land, and a sick 8-year-old son, she began living in a cheap boarding house, paying her stay with sewing and small tasks. Each day, hunger arrived earlier than the sun. Miguel coughed through the entire night, and Ana did everything she could to keep him warm with old clothes stored in a wooden box. Winter was coming, and she had no firewood, no coins, no prospects. Then the news arrived. A messenger on horseback, wearing a leather coat and short-brimmed hat, appeared at the boarding house door, a man with firm speech and a serious gaze. He carried a sealed document and an unexpected announcement. A distant Uncle Ana had not seen since childhood had died without direct heirs and left her property in the countryside. It wasn't large, nor famous, nor prosperous, just an old house in a remote region, hidden among dark trees and winding trails. But for someone who didn't even have a bed to call her own, it sounded like a miracle. When she announced she would leave the next morning, the looks in the boarding house felt more like pity than support. A woman whispered, "That house is cursed. They say no one has lived there since the last owner lost his sanity." Another man added, "People say there are voices in the attic, footsteps in the halls, lights in the windows, even though the place is abandoned." Ana listened in silence. She didn't believe in curses, but she believed in misery, and that she knew too well. She packed a torn suitcase, wrapped Miguel in a shawl, and left before sunrise. The trip took 2 days. Rain, mud, cold, narrow trails, and a constant fear of the unknown. She carried Miguel in her arms when the road disappeared, and stopped only when her legs failed. When she arrived, she saw not a house, but what remained of one. Darkened windows, a sagging roof, weeds covering the door, and a silence so deep it seemed to hold memories. The wood groaned with the wind, and the air smelled of abandonment, as if no one had breathed there in decades. Still, she took a deep breath and entered. Inside, everything was worse. Dust-covered furniture, stained walls, spiderwebs in every corner. A broken painting, scattered letters, cracked dishes, a rusted oil lamp. It felt like stepping into someone's forgotten life. She spent the first night afraid. Wind beat against the cracks, and Miguel trembled with fever. She prayed all night for protection. At dawn, she found strength where she thought none remained. She cleaned the house alone, dragging heavy furniture, sweeping dirt, burning trash, patching holes with rotten boards from the old chicken coop. She worked until her fingers bled. No visitors, no neighbors, no voices. The world had forgotten that place. Then, while pushing a large wardrobe in the main room, something happened. The floor cracked, a plank lifted on its own, as if pushed from beneath, or as if time had been waiting for that moment. Ana knelt, pulled it loose, and found an opening, a staircase descending into darkness. Her heartbeat echoed in the empty walls. She lit a lamp and went down slowly, step by step. At the bottom, she found not a cellar, but a vault, ancient chests stacked together, sealed with rusted locks and engraved crests. It felt like someone had hidden an entire family's history underground. She forced open the first chest. The golden reflection flickered in the lamplight, and Ana covered her mouth to stop a scream. Gold coins, jewels with rare stones, handcrafted silver, contracts and land deeds bearing official seals. It wasn't just wealth, it was power, and power, she knew, brought dangers greater than poverty. Ana collapsed to her knees, crying not from joy, but from the weight of an impossible choice. To reveal it could save her or destroy her. She extinguished the lamp, closed the chest, climbed back up, and sealed the entrance. That day she understood. The inheritance was not just a house. It was a secret too large to carry alone. And that was how something began that would change not only her life, but the history of that land. What followed wasn't wealth. It was consequence. In the days that followed, Ana Lucia tried to live as if nothing had changed. She kept cleaning the house, caring for Miguel, living as someone who owned only enough to survive. She didn't spend a single coin from the cellar, not even for medicine. She believed that once she took something from that treasure, the secret would no longer be a secret and would turn into a curse. But fate does not allow great discoveries to remain invisible forever. One morning, while fetching water from the well, she heard hooves approaching. It was rare to see anyone on that road, extremely rare. A dark brown horse stopped at the gate. The man who dismounted stood tall, boots dusty, eyes carrying old stories. He didn't look threatening, only worn, like someone who carried long-buried grief. He removed his hat and spoke respectfully. "Are you the new resident here?" She nodded cautiously. "Yes, I arrived recently." He introduced himself. "My name is Estevao Andrade. I have land nearby. It's unusual to see anyone living here. I wanted to know if you needed help." Ana said nothing, but Miguel caught behind her, an answer louder than words. Estevao returned the next day with herbal medicine, honey, dry wood, tools for the roof. He asked for nothing in return. Helping someone start over reminds me that I can start over too. Weeks passed. He visited often, not imposing, not prying, simply present. Miguel grew attached to him. Ana kept her distance. She was not ready to trust, but time, silent and patient, stitched their wounds together. They talked beneath the moonlight on the porch, speaking of loss, silence, loneliness, two souls carrying the same kind of emptiness. Months passed. The farm revived. The house breathed again. But the secret beneath the floorboards grew heavier. Then came the storm. Rain like knives, wind tearing at the roof, night shaking walls. Estevao arrived soaked, reinforcing windows. Staying through the night, when silence returned, Ana lit a lamp with trembling hands. It was time. She moved the wardrobe, revealed the opening, and let him down. The treasure glittered under the flame. He said nothing for a long time. She whispered, "I found this on the first day. I told no one. I was afraid not of the wealth, but of what it can do to people." He closed the chest gently. Wealth doesn't reveal who you want to be. It reveals who you already are. She cried, not because she had gold, but because someone finally saw her, not what she possessed. That night, they made a silent pact. They would not flaunt the treasure. They would not sell it all at once. They would rebuild with dignity, not greed. Wealth would be a tool, not a destiny. And so it was. With small amounts used slowly, Ana bought medicine, seeds, cattle. The property revived. People respected her. She became a symbol of resilience. Ana and Estevao grew closer, not a burning passion, but gentle love born from rebuilding. 2 years later, Ana walked into a chapel in simple clothing. Miguel carried flowers down the aisle. Estevao waited at the altar, wearing the same honest gaze. No gold, no jewels, no chests, only love. The land stopped being known as the cursed house. It became the house of hope. And the treasure remained buried, not out of fear, but because Ana learned the greatest truth. Some treasures exist only to lead us to what truly matters. After that, they may rest,